Hello, everyone. Hope everybody is doing well. Now, during the pandemic, we've seen certain sectors and individuals of the economy hit very, very hard. And whether you argue this is an overreaction, you can certainly believe that it has obviously hit the Hispanic or / immigrant community a lot harder. And this is mainly because of the fact that they're disproportionately like to be employed in places like restaurants, in kitchens, in a lot of different areas. And this is one of the concerns and one of the issues I've been really talking about over the years, because that, well, as you know, they've been hit so hard. And I know a lot of people in this channel and all over the YouTube community have been concerned about immigration and demographic change. The real question is what's going to happen when this joblessness really goes out of hand? Are they going to stay, or a lot of them, considering the fact that they're not even US citizens, are they going to obviously leave? Because you've got to keep in mind that given the fact that they're disproportionately employed in low-skilled jobs, not to mention, according to a lot of other statistics, because they obviously panicked about the public charge rule, that, well, they're not likely to get assistance as easy as they used to be. Well, guess what? It's certainly not looking pretty good. And one of the main consequences of all this, and this is one of the reasons why they really come to this country, they disproportionately send a lot of their earnings and wealth abroad. So what you have essentially is a large segment of Latin America, Miami, Guatemala, all these other countries that are being propped up by our remittances. See, this is one of the largest arguments when it comes to immigration. And first of all, you got to understand, when you work at these low jobs that are very, in terms of skill, you've got to understand that they're very vulnerable. And so these economies are so dependent on these remittances. They're so dependent on, just because these dollars have a lot of value relative to these currencies. And so one of the things that's going to happen if those remittances are cut, you're going to see a domino effect all over the world. And this could create a lot of economic pain and frustration in a lot of these countries. Not to mention the fact that people who are here in the US, they can't earn enough income. So the question is where they will go. I think it's pretty likely that they will leave the United States, because a lot of them left during the last economic downturn. And given the fact that the borders are more secure and the green card process is more different, well, a lot of them are not likely to come back. And again, this is the main reason why they come here, is to basically get benefits that many of their children can get because they are automatic US citizens through birthright citizenship, which we'll have to see about the court case. And then a lot of them want those high value US dollars to be sent abroad. But then again, this is the main concern perhaps with immigration, because it's not just the crime. It's not just the fact that they take our jobs. It's not just the fact that there's all these other issues involved, the welfare use. It's also the fact that the politicians continue to pander to them. And notice how many of these politicians don't want to raise our taxes. They don't want to put taxes on remittances. But it's the fact that it doesn't really help the economy, despite all the fluff that we hear that they contribute to our economy. But the fact of the matter is they send lots of money abroad. It's just like our trade deals. It's making countries overseas like China more wealthy, but it's not really helping us. See, this is very misleading. And by the way, this isn't just Latinos. This is people from all over the world. Asia, Africa, all these other countries, Europe. I've just seen a supermarket nearby send money to Russia and Ukraine. How is this helping us? And speaking of immigrants that are not doing very well, you are really starting to see a lot of areas, particularly in California, that are really starting to shrink in population. So as you can see, 30 Bay Area cities, shrank last year as California population slowed. So people are leaving these areas because of the homelessness, high cost of living, unfavorable government. So as people continue to leave and not enough immigrants are coming along, and pretty soon where deaths may outpay births, and again, a lot of those births are due to immigrants, but those numbers have been slowing down over the last year or so. And then as a result, California is starting to lose population. So it's really starting to make the Jerry Brown, Gavin Newsom machine look pretty unfavorable. And this is why they've been continuing to doing all those years, because they've had population growth, new voters come in as immigrants, but now they're seeing their system really start to crumble, especially with a lot of those tax deductions that are now largely gone. Look at this article right here. Cities investing in the new amounts of housing. Now, one of the reasons why I believe home prices have went up is not just the low lending standards in terms of down payment and interest rates. By the way, I like this, how the garage door seems to be in the rear. I'm not sure. But one of the real concerns is that we're not building enough units. You have to ask yourself, why in the late 80s, the late 90s and 2000s, we were building more housing units than we are now? And a lot of people argue it's corporate consolidation, tougher to build in terms of restrictions, lack of labor, whatever it's called. But this is the main cause of home prices, perhaps in some markets, or as one of the reasons in this society. And you have to understand, will this continue? Will there be more scarcity? Well, I kind of beg to differ, because a lot of these manufactured units like Boxable and 3D printers, they can really start to change the game. And let's take a look at some of the other articles. So you can see here, this has been really hit hard. One segment of the economy that has been really hit hard here in Las Vegas is the taxi authority, down 97%. Now, it isn't just because of Uber and Lyft. It's because, well, people who generally use taxis are usually in the resort corridor. People who generally tend to have cash, they're not good with the gig stuff. And so as a result, they've been hit very hard. Now, keep in mind, they're disproportionately done by immigrants. Not to mention they pay a large tax revenue to the state. But again, I really think a lot of these companies are going to be permanently closed. And so given the route service and so forth, the way they drive, this is one of the reasons why people in this area are so aggressive. Thank God they're winding down. And keep in mind, a lot of them who are employed in these taxi cabs are disproportionately immigrants. And believe it or not, a very high portion of them are from the Horn of Africa. So we could see a lot of these people who are from these countries go back, because I'm wondering how they can get jobs when you have like 20 to 30 something percent unemployment. There is now an effort, believe it or not, to actually recall Mayor Goodman. Now, the question is, I don't know exactly if Mayor Goodman can be trusted. The question is she playing kind of like a phony dog and pony show? She could be in bed with Sisolak. I don't know. But given the fact that, well, she's pretty concerned and she's heard a lot of frustration from the residents, well, there's a reason why people are stepping out. Now, is this recall going to go anywhere? I'm not sure. I think there's probably going to be a less likely chance that the recall will go anywhere compared to the recall Sisolak effort, and I'll talk more videos about that pretty soon. But who knows? She could be the absolute biggest opposition to the Sisolak Reid agenda. Now look at this. In this article right here, you could see here, is online gaming going to be the future, considering the fact that a lot of companies like Wynn are suffering a lot. Now, in a future video, I'll talk about my unpleasant experience with Wynn Resorts, but in addition to that, they're doing a lot of losses. And again, these losses are not new. They've been going on for the last year or two. And the question is, if they're going to continue to lose, will they close a lot of their casinos? Will they reduce their rates? Will they change their services? Certainly have done videos about their buffets and beach clubs. Could they convert their hotels into condos? We don't know, just like what they did in Reno. And then here's another article. As you can see here, population shrinks while California is still the most populous state. So you can see here, they're still leaving. Immigration levels are low. This is one of the reasons why the Newsoms, the Browns, the Feinsteins, all these types of people want mass immigration to prop up their numbers, to make business as usual look good, and to get more votes. Well, their agenda is really starting to fall apart. Thank goodness they get the beating that they deserve. And as you know, CNN is still blaming a lot of problems on our president. And as you can see right here, the Donald Trump economy faces long-term disaster, as it looks like they're blaming at them, the worst since the 1930s, as they claim it. So they're basically hyping up this COVID outbreak with all their charts and their media screens. And basically, as all these states began to shut down, they're putting the blame on Donald Trump, given the fact back in January, he started the COVID task force. He had the travel bans and so forth, but yet they want to blame everything on him, given the fact that at that time, they were planning to impeach him. But of course, this article, as far as I know, is not talking about the situation, but yet then again, I don't agree everything the president has done in terms of his rescue packages, in terms of his tax cuts, a lot of different things. I wonder why he's still allowing these visa workers despite high unemployment, although I will praise him for shutting down green card applicants. All right, everybody, thank you guys so much. If you can, please share, subscribe, and spread this video as you can. Hang in there. Bye-bye.